Hey guys, don't forget to check out the link in the video description for USTE. It's coming up in February of 2020. I'll be teaching a class there on basic patina. I've got some of the details worked out, and yeah, just check the schedule and hope y'all can make it. There, YouTube. I know some of y'all were probably cringing, tearing apart that beautiful Fijon FJ9 drift car that we got from Banggood. There is a link in the video description if you're interested in that kit. It's a very, very cool kit. It's very neatly engineered. Front suspension's actually like a McPherson strut style. It's adjustable. But I don't drift. As cool as drift cars are, and as much as it's neat, I have no concrete anymore to drift on. I don't really have any skill at drifting. So I've been sitting here trying to figure out something to do. I've been struggling the last month or so. Kind of been pulled away doing a bunch of other things, adult stuff and non-fun stuff. And yeah, I've really wanted to get back to a custom build, but I just haven't had that spark. And I sat out here Friday night a few days ago, and just this FJ9 is my most viewed video. The people love it, and I hate that I don't use it. I don't do anything with it. And I've just been sitting out here staring at it for a few days, and it finally dawned on me what needs to happen. So pretty much what I've done, I've taken the entire spine out of it. We're doing away with the front suspension. We're going for a solid axle for a Ratrod look, but we're keeping all the motor, gearbox, belts, and all of that. The entire spine down the middle, carbon fiber, aluminum, both piece drive shaft, and the entire rear suspension, independent. And yeah. I'm not sure. I really like to use these dually wheels. These are the RC 4-wheel drive 155s. They're just dually wheels. They're not anything, they're not bead locks or anything. They're just regular old wheels. And I have on them the 155 dirt grabbers, I believe. Yeah, those are about the smallest tire you can get from RC 4-wheel drive in 155. They are very, very small. And I bought a whole bunch of those for a trailer I never built. So put them on these wheels because the wheels that were, the tires that were on these wheels, I think were the scale Mickey Thompsons. And they were just super, super narrow, and they didn't look right with anything I had them on. They came with the wheels, so I ended up selling those and put all these bad boys on here. But yeah, the wheels and tires can always change. But yeah, I'm really digging the setup. I love that, because that's the problem. I've been trying to save money lately and do all this adult crap and, you know, be responsible and yada yada. So I'm sitting here wanting to build another Ratrod, and I'm looking at a 100 and whatever for an RC 4-wheel drive VA, another 80 for a transmission, another 80 for a rear axle, another 40 for a drive shaft, and you know, and it just really adds up. And then I'm thinking in my head, I'm, you know, visualizing what's going to become, and it's going to be something I already have. I've already built Ratrods like that, so I need to do something different. So I've been sitting there staring at my original Ratrod chassis, and that was the one that I built just from spare parts. I didn't buy anything. I think I bought scale hardware to make it, you know, put it all together. But it's built from just random stuff, all pieced together, and it really, that's one of the most special builds to me, because that was the purest form. That was completely just working with what I had. And that's what's been missing on the channel, is I haven't had that spark to do that. So I'm digging this. I like the the gearbox in the front, the motor mount and everything, it's going to be very different. I do plan on leaving the carbon fiber, I do plan on leaving the aluminum, and I do plan on leaving the body rusty and the grill rusty. It's going to be the MODrod. This is going to be kind of a futuristic take on a Ratrod. And it's only going to be that way because that's what I have. I have this amazing, awesome engineered chassis that I haven't done anything with. You can see the chassis pan over there just covered in dust. And yeah, so I really don't want to move it because it's all just kind of sitting there right now. Let me take you back here and we'll take a look before we move any further. On the rear I removed the shock towers because they do extend over the tire, which is not going to work. I'm going to have to reinstall them because they do incorporate the upper control arm mount for the rear, so our upper control arms can just pop off. But I'm going to have to cut that down, and I'm really thinking about doing a rear air ride. I've got another set of Pro Air RC, this discontinued set. Got a couple of those sitting around, and a lot of Ratrods, you see they have air ride on the rear, the fronts have a traditional leaf spring or something. We'll worry about that. That's always kind of the last thing to come. Once we get the chassis worked out and we've got the suspension mounted, then we can start looking at what it takes to suspend the suspension and do all that. But the rear, I've got a pretty clear idea. Those Pro Air RC struts are tall. They're about 130 millimeter. I don't have any in this room right now. I don't know where they are, but they're in a box. So we're looking at having those up pretty high. We'll have to fabricate something to mount them to. There won't be any interior in this truck because A, we're going to have to hide all electronics, and if we do the Pro Air RC, that box is going to have to mount in there. But I think all the problems we had with the Pro Air kit were because of the weight of the ramp truck when we built the Ratrod ramp truck. And we shouldn't have that on this because A, it's all aluminum and carbon fiber. Body's 3D printed. Another thing I didn't mention, if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen these bodies before, this is the Ratrod truck cab from Ossum Designs. My friend Jason, Ossum Designs, he designed this long before I was building Ratrods. He built an RC hot rod completely from scratch, and he designed this cab, and it's available on Shapeways. And I believe he's done all kinds of things with 3D printing and companies and stuff now, but I do believe that he will give the file out. Don't quote me on that, but he's got a Facebook group. I'll put a link to that in the video description as well if you're interested in trying to print one yourself. This was one I had printed. I printed one for the number 2 Ratrod on Shapeways, and I had this one printed locally through some kind of service, and the one at Shapeways was $100 and some odd. It was pretty expensive, but it was really high quality, and this one was 40 bucks, and it was horrible. And it gassed out and it cracked and it did all stuff, and then I went back later in a video and weathered it anyway, which all the deformities in the print actually kind of played cool with the weathering effects, and it gave it a really cool look. So I was happy with the body now, so I think this may be the place to put it. Let me bring you around the side. So I've got RC 4-wheel drive 129mm links mounted to the Kustom Tamiya semi-truck front axle with RC 4-wheel drive M3 Heim joints. Those are kind of expensive rod ends, basically. They look super scale. They give a little bit more range of motion, but they are a little sloppy. So they're more for aesthetics on this because I wanted to incorporate as much aluminum into it as I can to complement what's already there. But we're going to keep the whole FJ9 front gearbox, even the 4 fake air intakes up there. I don't know what motor or anything I'm going to run in this. It all depends on what I got at the time. Usually I'd throw a can motor in it and call it good, but being completely visible, I'm going to do something kind of cool. So any suggestions on a cool looking can motor, whether it be brushless, something that would be like silver aluminum like the rest of it, that's got some ribs in it, or something really cool. I don't really care as far as speed. This thing's going to be geared pretty fast, I'm sure, as it is. One thing I do need to do still, I do need to completely tear the front diff apart and remove the gears because I don't want the excess drag on trying to turn, because we've still got you see our output shafts here, and we don't need any of that. So we'll go ahead and pull that out of there. I've got the Ossum Designs tractor grill. I've worked with Jason several projects in the past, And this is another 3D printed, this is a two-piece grill. It's got an insert. This one is already weathered, kind of a cool olive green. The insert has not been painted or weathered. It's still black. I probably will do that with chrome paint at some point, and we'll rust it to match. But the cool part of this is that motor has all those belts on the front. And it's, what do we have, 3 belts? It's pretty neat looking thing, and lots of aluminum. So I was looking at how I'm going to tile this together, and I think I'm going to have to reuse the factory frame. At the chassis here, we've got all the steering mechanism still on it. That's going to have to come off because we don't need it. Our steering is going to be outbound on the suicide front axle. Lots of little cool aluminum brackets they used here to hold carbon fiber panels at 90 degrees. I'm thinking I may be able to repurpose these as our front suspension mounts. They're going to have to move inboard, and we're going to have to chop quite a bit off of this. I'm looking at pretty close to that wide, but where we get to the cab, I do want to widen it a little bit so we have places where we can throw mounts and stuff at it for our Pro Air control box and stuff like that. But I'm not going to cut just yet because I need to stew on this idea. I mean, this all just happened here in the last couple of hours finally, and I need some time to make sure, because I think I can get these frames through Banggood separate, just the carbon panels, but I don't want to jump to conclusions here. I don't want to jump too early and cut too much. This is two-piece. There's a seam here, and it's held together with some of the bracketry for the suspension, which may cause us a problem as far as rigidity, because I need to keep all that apart. I didn't realize that at the time, but I want to cut straight back, a little bit wider in the middle, and that way we have all of these mounts for all the mounting points on the spine. So we have the gearbox mounts here, here, and here, and here, and then we have a cross member in the middle, and then our rear axle has 4 more sets of mounts, and that's really going to be the only way to hold this together. There's so many separate components, like here on the rear of the truck. Let me get you a closer look here. So our uprights here mount to the chassis, and then our crossbars that hold the lower control arms mount to the chassis separately. So it's you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws that hold that together. So coming back with steel frame rails or something like we usually do is not going to work on this. And although I could make it out of aluminum or something, I have a pattern. I could use the chassis to, mark and drill the holes and get the shape that we need. I think the carbon fiber is going to be the best way to go, because it's already there. I just need to trim it up to fit this body and cut out the things we don't need, add some things we do. So it's really going to be my first time working with carbon fiber. But I know it's just going to be dusty. I need to wear a mask. That's about it. Rear shock tower, see, is all sorts of 2 wide, but really I don't think this is going to work for the suspension that I want to use, but I need it to mount the upper control arms and to secure it to the diff bracket thing. So that's where we're at. Like I said, I'm going to sleep on this and come back fresh tomorrow, and we'll see what we can do. Alright guys, so I'm going to wrap this part 1 video up. I could probably knock this thing out, but I really want to take my time. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to throw it together. I like the direction we're going. I've made a lot of progress tonight. We got the chassis cut. The body fits snugly around the edges of it. And then remember, the chassis is 2 pieces. So up here in the front, I went ahead and chopped the metal aluminum braces that hold the 2 halves together. and it's still holding it together, plus the rigidity of the motor drive shaft skeleton. Basically, it's gonna hold it together just fine. Looking at front suspension mounts, I've got a lot of really awesome aluminum pieces off of this chassis. May or may not have to modify what's left of this to clear. I'm thinking I may shorten the front a little bit as well. These 129mm rods, with the way the body and everything's set on the chassis, I think are just a little bit long, especially once we put the grill up here. We have about half an inch too much. We could bring it in at least a 1/4 inch. So, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. The grill will set a little higher. Needs to set up there with the hood, or the cowl. But I'm digging it. I still have to take the front diff apart. Let me show you a better angle. I really don't want to have that front spur gear in there spinning with the C-hub sticking out there, or the cup sticking out. So I'm probably going to yank all that out. I really need something else in there, though. I hate to leave that empty, but we are going to have a can motor right here. So, and again, if y'all know of any cool looking motors, something silver or black, something aluminum housing case, something ribbed, maybe it's a certain brand or anything, I'm open to opinions on that. I want something that's going to look cool, because it is going to kind of hang out there like a sore thumb. So we don't want to put a bright, colorful old can motor with lots of stickers and 90s graphics on it. I have been thinking about steering a little bit. Steering is probably going to have to be in the grill, and the grill has absolutely no way on earth to mount. And I've been talking about the Pro Air RC suspension for the rear. I really would like to incorporate that in the front. I don't know how or anything yet. Once we figure out the mounts for the front suspension, and probably after we get the rear suspension mounted and done, then we'll look at doing the front, because those struts are pretty tall, and you know, I don't want them sticking up as high as the roof, but they probably would come up a little higher than the grill. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. We might do something completely different. Might try to make a cantilever. I don't know. We'll just have to cross that bridge when we get there. But I'm pretty happy with this. And I don't know, I've got a lot of advice on Instagram and Facebook about cutting this carbon fiber, and I am looking at it. It does look layered, but it's not unraveling like was suggested to me would happen. So I don't think I really need to put any glue or anything around the edge of it. This may not even be real carbon fiber. It may be just a carbon composite graphite type thing. I know that'll make a ton of dust too, but it does have some lines in it. It looks like it's layered, but I don't see a weave, I don't see strands, I don't see anything like that. So who knows what we got, but it's going to work for this. Let me give you one last look at the back end, because I did chop the rear shock tower almost completely away. I just wanted to retain the upper control arm mount. See, I just followed some of the lines that were already on it. I did nick the outside edge a little bit, and you know. It's late at night after a day at work and you're going wild with a Dremel. Things happen. But I'm pretty happy with how this is working out. The carbon fiber chassis is laying flat on the ground. The body is laying flat on the ground, hiding the edge of the chassis. I do need to clearance this up here in the back just a tad bit more, maybe 1 millimeter, get it to set a little bit further down on the back. When I first started this, I was thinking I was going to use those 2.2 Vanquish vintage wheels with the low profile buggy tires, but I'm kind of digging this cambered dually look. So I don't know. It's one of those things you just got to follow the build, see where it takes us. But I'm gonna wrap this one up. I appreciate you guys watching, and be sure to check out my Amazon influencer page. There's a link in the video description. Got links to lots of the products and scale accessories and stuff that I actually use. No junk, no, you know, it's nothing brand specific. It's just cool stuff that I actually have. And yeah. Also, be sure to check the link in the video description for USTE 2020. I'm going to be teaching the class there on paint and patina, mainly basic patina, how to do some of these cool effects like this truck has here. And yeah, keep it scale. I'll see y'all in the next video.